Plaintiff Sam Merrow is a recovering addict and alcoholic who cleaned up his act for the sake of his child. Sam claims he worked on a construction site for the defendant, but he had no idea there was asbestos on the site, which has caused Sam medical issues, so he's suing. Defendant Samson Yee hired Sam to work on his construction site, and in turn, Sam falsely reported him for having an unsafe work site. Samson insists all the claims were unfounded, and he denies owing Sam for anything.
Start with you.
Well, I know when someone's trying to get over on me, and that's exactly what Samson was trying to do. I do admit I do have past. I went to prison for intent to deliver marijuana and manufacturing. I got...
When?
2008.
How much marijuana?
There was about a quarter pound on the intent to deliver, and then about 7 plants drying out for the manufacturing.
What would that have made? 7
Couple
plants?
pounds.
Couple pounds?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you say it's a total of about what?
About 2.
If you include the plants.
Oh, and the quarter pound. 2 pounds and a quarter.
Okay, 2 1/4 pounds.
Sure.
How many years did you do?
I got 10 years with 8 suspended. I did 2.
You got 10 years what?
With 8 suspended.
Okay. All right. Back then, that's about right, but certainly
Yeah, I
now,
know.
it should be
It's a
less.
little different now.
Much marijuana?
There was about a quarter pound on the intent to deliver, and then about 7 plants drying out.
How many years did you do?
I got 10 years with 8 suspended. I did 2.
Back then, that's about right, but certainly
Yeah, I know.
now, it should be
It's a
less.
little different now.
Defendant Samson Yee says after he hired the plaintiff to work on his construction site, the plaintiff repaid him by making false allegations about an unsafe working environment.
All right, go ahead.
And when I got out, I'm also a recovering addict and alcoholic. When I got out, I tried to get sober just because I didn't want to go back to prison, but that didn't really work. I'd be sober for a little while, and then I'd relapse. When I had my son, when he turned 4, I knew that he could actually see what I was doing and was noticing what I was doing, so I knew I had to change. I went to rehab for 30 days, and I've been clean for 3 years ever since. I go to...
NA?
Excuse me?
You go to NA?
I don't go to NA, I go to Celebrate Recovery. It's a Christian-based... We go every Tuesday, and on Fridays we meet and have a 12-step study, and we eat. We have food.
You
It's
have a
little
twice-a-week recovery group that
Yes,
you
sir.
meet with. Good.
And,
How do you know the defendant? Where do you know him?
I was looking for work, and I looked on Craigslist and called him and met up with
Looking
him.
for work. You are what? What do you do?
Construction, sir.
Okay.
And so I called him, and he told me that he had work grinding the mortar out of bricks.
And how did you find he needed work? You saw it
On
in the paper?
Craigslist.
On Craigslist. You
Yes,
just
sir.
said that. Okay, let me get some background on his business and or you or whatever you'd like to tell me, sir.
Yes, it is true that I did meet him through an ad I put out on Craigslist for labor I needed for my construction gig. He came in, and I liked him right away, and I had some work. It wasn't just for grinding brick, it was just general help, labor for the work I had going on. He worked starting from August 5th through August 29th.
Let me allow him to give me the agreement, and then he'll tell me how you breached the agreement
Sure.
that he's alleging. Sir, tell me what the agreement for the work was. He was telling me his belief, the agreement in terms of the work that was to be done. So you tell me what you believe you contracted to do.
Well, to begin with, I was being paid by the hour we were working up to
How much an hour?
17.
$17 an hour. And this was an agreement for how many hours? Was there a maximum?
It varied,
number
Your
of
Honor.
hours?
Like, some days we'd work till 2, some days we'd get off at noon.
Okay.
Like, it just depended on how hot it was, honestly, and how wore out the guys were.
Okay. And the wages, what happened with the wages?
What happened with that
suing
was,
them?
my grandmother brought it to my attention that when that building was built, that they used asbestos in the mortar. So I talked to Samson about it. He didn't really respond, so I quit because I already have a tumor in my lung. It's a fungal tumor, and when I heard that there's asbestos in the mortar, it really tripped me out. So because when I started working, he didn't have safety glasses, he didn't have masks for us. I got one the next day, but later on he did provide masks. The masks he provided were in the N95 mask. It doesn't really stop the dust. And like, especially when you're working with asbestos, to be up to code, you need a respirator, not just the mask.
So you didn't do it then? Because you know you need all those things,
Yeah,
otherwise
well,
it's bad for your health.
Well,
so obviously you didn't do anything that's bad for your health.
Exactly.
Right.
And when I came back, well, I told him that to keep me, I need $25 an hour.
But it says medical bill you're suing for. So how did you avoid it affecting your health, yet you want medical bills?
I have polyps. It's not, it's different than the tumor. They noticed
And
these
you
new
have polyps
polyps
from
that
working for
stopped.
him?
Yes, sir.
How long did you work for him?
For about 6 weeks. Well, because when I started working, he didn't have safety glasses, he didn't have masks for us.
So you didn't do it then? Because you know you need all those things,
Yeah,
otherwise
well,
it's bad for your health.
Well,
so obviously you didn't do anything that's bad for your health.
Exactly.
Right.
Defendant Samson Yee says after he hired the plaintiff to work on his construction site, the plaintiff repaid him by making false allegations about an unsafe working environment.
So let's get back. First, you wanted $17 an hour. I asked you how much you were to be paid. Now I just heard you say something about $25 an hour. How much were you to be paid, sir? What was the agreement on the performance of this work?
When I came back,
No. What was the agreement that you're suing him on
he would
today?
give me $1,000 if I finished it before a week, or
Finished
$25 an hour. The rest of the brickwork. That was different.
Okay, was that
It
the
was
agreement,
new
sir,
mortar.
to finish the rest of something?
I have audio.
Sir, be quiet. Go ahead, tell me what the agreement was.
Yeah,
'Cause
so,
you're totally confused, and you're trying to run some weak game. Go ahead.
So he quit on the 29th. I had a big week coming up. It was Labor Day week. He came on the 5th, which is Monday, when nobody else was
I
working.
need to know the initial agreement.
The agreement was $25 an hour for 4 days.
To do what?
To general labor, as well as finishing a section of brickwork, which he was going to get a bonus.
General labor on what part?
The grinding of the brick, moving of supplies, helping when the mezzanine erectors came in, just hands on deck, for that week.
Okay.
And so the kicker for the finishing the brick grinding work was I would give him a 5th day's worth of labor, 8 extra hours at $25 an hour. So that would make that 1,000 he's talking about at the end of the week. He did finish the brickwork in 8 hours, which I appreciated, but he didn't finish the week. So that's why he doesn't get the 1,000. He did half the week, so I gave him 500. But he was adamant that he gets paid the full 1,000, even though he did not finish the agreement. He's making a lot of claims that are just false. He reported me to OSHA with all these kind of false work safety hazard allegations. He made like a claim that the scaffolding he was forced to get on was 24 feet in the air. The inside of my building is 19 feet. He said that he was forced to walk under a header that was 30 feet in the air. The top of my building on the exterior parapet is 24 feet. So he's just making numbers up.
Yeah, did you have people working under forced
No,
labor or something?
Not at all. In
Because
fact,
of everything he just said, he saw before he started. So why would you do that? Why would you start something that is dangerous? It's open and dangerous. Why start? Why walk up under the thing when you're walking up under and you know that that's dangerous? You look up. He said, oh, I ain't walking under this. Let me go tell Mr. Yee that, no, this is dangerous and I'm not doing it. Instead, he does it and then comes back to you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm just making sense of, or trying to make sense of the things he has said. What happened with this OSHA, where he filed all these claims?
So I had to deal with OSHA. I had phone calls. I had to send them pictures, documentation to prove that it was all false, which they didn't send me a report saying
They
that they
did
closed.
send you a report?
Saying that they closed the case.
You have it? You bring that?
Yes, absolutely. This is what I sent to OSHA.
That's a lot to deal with when,
Yes.
yeah, he gave you a handful to
So
deal with.
this This is the report I had to
Response
give
to
them.
motion, apologize for the delay. Further, was provided basic safety when, oh, this is from you. Which one is theirs?
Theirs is this one right here that says that they closed the case, page 7.
All right.
Yes.
All right. This is to advise you that based on the information that you have provided this office, the complaint referenced above will officially close. Thank you for your cooperation in this inquiry. All right, back to you, sir. He says he only pays you half because you only finished half.
He told me that when I finished it, I'd get $1,000.
Right, and you didn't.
I did finish it.
You didn't.
That's the issue here.
I
that
finished
you
the
didn't.
brickwork. The rest of the brickwork that needed to be done.
You didn't finish the week. You finished the brickwork, which was the kicker. I went ahead and paid you on half the kicker because you did half the week. That's the $500. I told you that. The following week, I invited you to come back and finish out
Sir, I
the
have
16
audio.
hours so you could get the other $500.
I have audio, sir.
Okay, we'll hear it shortly. But go ahead. You told him what? Finish
So I
reminding him.
so I invited him to come back the following week for the following $500 if he finished the remaining 16
And he didn't
hours.
come back.
He did not come back. He refused to come back.
So that's $500. Had he come back, that's all you would owe? Is that what you're saying?
I was going to finish that agreement for the 1,000 if he finished the original agreement, which was the 16 hours he
Got
owed
it.
me.
You're right. What he told me was once I finished the brickwork,
Well, you have it on audio. Let's hear your
I
audio.
Okay.
Let's hear.
Obviously, you don't see it from my viewpoint.
It was worth $1,000 for you to be done with that on schedule. I got done with it. But that's how you made it out to be. Was I finished that, I get $1,000.
All right, I'll give you $1,000. This is how it's gonna go. I'll give you $500 tomorrow. I'll give you $500 the following week. All right. All I know is, man, I was really disappointed this morning because, you know, I had to do.
I was moving as fast as I could without running.
Well, the only reason I changed up that deal is because I feel like really like, man, these guys were moving like molasses.
That's not what it is. I told you what it was. And I seen that mortar was different. That was new mortar.
When I said that 40 hours, man, I said, okay, these guys, for this much square footage, took a week. So I'm going to say, okay.
You told me I finished that, I get $1,000. I finished it. Now it's something different.
All right, man, I don't need this negative energy. I'll pay you $1,000, man, all right?
All right. I'm not trying to be
I'll pay you
negative with
$500 tomorrow. Listen.
Okay.
I'll pay you $500 tomorrow. I'll pay you $500 the following week, okay?
Okay.
I understand where you're coming from. But you know, man, I feel like
I got a tumor in my lung. You got me sitting there breathing asbestos. You asked me what it would take for me to get it,
all right.
and that's what
so
it took.
in the 4 weeks you're working for me is when you got the tumor, but the lifetime of smoking is not what you got the tumor. So don't imply that.
I'm not saying
that's not fair.
I got the tumor from it.
You had the option of wearing a mask. So don't blame me for that, man. Don't ever put that on me. That's the last thing that
Hey, but for me to continue to do it, you asked me what it would cost for me to continue to do that.
It's clear what's going on there, sir. He's trying to avoid. Sir, be quiet. He's trying to avoid confrontation, further confrontation with you. He even details his dissatisfaction as he's telling you, okay, man, the whole tone of what he's saying is, I'm going to get this off my plate. Fine, I'll give you $1,000, $500 now, $500 next week. That's what I heard. I didn't hear him sounding as if he believed he owed it. In fact, I heard him sounding and saying he didn't owe it, but that he would pay you nonetheless. That's what I get from that.
Defendant Samson Yee says after he hired the plaintiff to work on his construction site, the plaintiff repaid him by making false allegations about an unsafe working environment.
How does he owe you for emotional distress?
Well, he said he would give me that $1,000. That's the only reason I came back.
And he gave
I
you
needed that
$500
$1,000
of
to
it.
buy a truck that I was going to fit.
And he gave you $500 of it, right?
Yeah, he gave me $500.
All right, so
Yes,
he
sir.
only owes you
But
$500
I
more.
worked 2 days after I finished the brickwork.
Okay, that's some additional monies you're saying.
Doing the steel beams.
How much were you to receive for that?
That was 2 10-hour days and at $25 an hour. That's $500.
That additional work's talking about is that 4 days of work we're talking about. That was done in 2 of the 4 days. This additional work is not additional work. Him saying 2 10-hour days, he worked 6 hours on Tuesday, 10 hours on Wednesday. He quit Thursday. And then that $500 that I said I was going to give him, I did text him and say, let's talk about how you're going to get that 500. That was to work the 16 hours for it.
Well, we know how he's going to get it now because I'm going to rule in his favor for $500. That's all you're getting, sir. $500 is your judgment. No medical bills. Nothing else do I believe other than what I heard him say. Have a good day. $500 is your judgment.
And I appreciated you. You know, you did good work for me, and now that you got your 1,000, I hope everything's squashed.
Yeah, I have no hard feelings. I hope you get your billing done.
Thank you, man.
Flip it for good.